This is Suzy Vance interviewing Ed Bracken in the heart of the park, because Ed was the mover and shaker we all turned to when our lakefront decided to erode. Meaning Lake Michigan decided to take away.
To take our lakefront.
Yes, to take
enlarge,
our. Right.
Reduce our lakefront, enlarge its.
That's exactly. And when it did that, you've heard from Nancy Schwab, whose house was threatened because feet after feet after feet went into the lake, despite the Army Corps of Engineers, which years ago had done what we did again. And then Nancy galvanized people, and Ed came to the rescue.
She put out the call, and people responded.
That's right, including Ed. And he was amazing, because even before anybody started to talk about how we were going to pay for this or what we were going to do, we all stepped up. There were a bunch of people in town that decided they didn't want to lose the lakefront, so they all contributed money, and then Ed went and spent it.
Yes.
He went to all kinds of places to get the boulders. Where'd you go to get the boulders?
I visited the quarries, limestone quarries that are approximately 60 to 70 miles due south of us, and that's where they mine the limestone. And that's what we need for the revitalization and reconstruction of the lakefront.
And what one of the stories I remember is that you got a delivery of limestone that you didn't like.
Yes. Yes.
This guy knows good limestone and bad limestone. What's the difference?
Well, it was just not a high quality limestone. It was brittle because it has too much petroleum products in it. It's a natural oil in the earth. And I had told them that I wanted none of that to begin with when I went on an on-site visit. And then they, in their infinite wisdom or just lack of communication on their part, the operator that was loading the trucks sent up a couple loads that was not to our liking.
Right.
So I happened on a Saturday. I was pretty much pissed about it on this Sunday, and then Monday I called and explained what happened, and that if they want to continue to do business with us, that better not happen again. And they made it right. They did not charge us for those 2 loads, and I made them also pay for the trucking to haul these 2 loads that were not worth anything up to the job site. And then from there, their product was excellent and their service was excellent.
Awesome. So, glad they got religion.
Yes.
That's really good. This is what happens when you have somebody who lives in your town who used to do this for a living and decides to help everybody out. Eventually, the town decided to pass, I believe, a $5 million bond.
Yes.
In order to pay for the entire revetment along the lakefront.
Yes. That is a lot of money, but I did point out to them that $5 million for the project that we have in mind will just barely cover it, maybe.
And you did okay.
Yes.
Including planting grass afterwards.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So what are some of your memories about this? Do you have any?
I liked, so many really good memories. I mean, the place, our lakefront was a mess, and we were in danger of losing our road, then our utilities, a water main, gas, power, and then eventually our neighbors' homes. So I could look at I went and walked the whole area and picked out the worst areas that needed the attention first and foremost.
Those are the areas that have what's called scowls.
Yes.
And how do those happen?
No, that's just where the existing revetment that was put down probably, I'm not sure just when, but 30 years ago, had failed. It had not been maintained. It's over the years of the lake beating on it. It had moved a little bit, and then it started to change its position, and then the lake found a weak spot and started just the wave action that started tearing it apart, and that's what happened. So it rolled it with the power of the lake. It was able to roll these boulders that weigh approximately anywhere from 1 ton on up to about 5 tons. Moved them out of position, found a weak spot, and start just sucking the sand out from behind it. And every time a wave come on shore, it took several cubic yards of sand right out with it.
Right.
And then it just progressively got bigger. And the bigger the storms, the waves, the more damage was done. And it didn't take long for it to really make its presence known in three locations. So we just worked out a plan on what we needed to do, and
the trucks started coming.
Well, not actually not as yet, because we were still working on the money situation. However, I did see something that I could do in the meantime, and that was to get a backhoe down there and start trying to repair the breaches just by where there was some good stone. I could pick it up and walk it down to where there was nothing there, where the major scours were occurring, and so that's what I was able to do in all 3 areas. I got a backhoe from a friend of mine, and I got it up to the lake. We moved it up to the lakefront, and so I went right to work on. I dug my way down to the vertical wall that was there. I dug my way down to the beach, and then just start picking stones. I see that there's minimal damage in that area. I could take some of those stones and take it to where the big blowout is, and start putting the rocks in there to keep the lake from taking any more. And so that's how we managed to at least stabilize the area until we could get a full scale operation going. And
once you got a full scale operation going, we needed people to guard, because the trucks that were coming in were enormous, and we had to prevent the gawkers.
Very true.
And the bike riders.
Yes.
And the motorcyclists.
Yes.
And the pedestrians.
And I gotta say, our town people came together and did an outstanding job. Can't praise them enough. They just sat out there and pretty much all weather, and we
had our walkie-talkie.
Oh yes.
We could say, the load is dumped, send a car in.
Yes. And so they did a wonderful job, because it was very traffic intensive with these big trucks come in, our heavy equipment moving around, the trucks hauling in, and a lot of danger, a lot of hazard areas. And so
and everybody had heard about the erosion, so they all wanted to come see it.
Absolutely. It was like a tourist destination.
That's right.
The traffic, and plus what made it even worse is that Chicago shut down everything, and that there was no place they could even get up to the lake in Chicago, so they came to little Indiana.
And I remember people driving by while I was guarding saying, "Where's the beach?
Yeah.
Where's the beach?"
Yeah.
And I'd say, "There isn't any beach anymore."
That's exactly right.
But there are a couple spots you've saved for us.
Yes. There was a couple places that we had a natural cove, and so I did not want to disturb that, because getting to the beach was going to be an issue with this project going on. But so I just worked around those, added protection to the existing cove that was there, and then I built a little ramp so people could walk down to the beach. Those areas won't accommodate our entire town population, but at least there's some place to go. and sit on the beach and go swimming.
So do you have any other favorite memories?
Oh, just so many of them. It was some of the crazy ideas that people come up with along the line on how to repair this, but when you don't know, they got vivid imaginations, but what will work and what is just completely fantasy. But it was a very pleasant project. It really was. And once we got the money and everything, we brought a contractor on board with some additional equipment. And
that was D&M, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't have, they had a little experience with it because we had a failure in December and January, previous months before. And so I gave a little on-the-job training on how to do this. And so I was out there on that one in December and January, and we kept that one from taking the road out. And so we brought them on board to do this one because they have some experience, and they had everything else that we needed, the trucks and some additional equipment, and they had some very skilled operators, which is essential. So this was not a place for amateurs. So, but it was very fun and enjoyable, I should say. And it's all about
most of it, except for when that bike rider went through because he wanted to keep his time. Man, you didn't look like maybe that was enjoyable.
Yeah, well, some of them were just jerks.
They were silly.
Yes, it just shows the lack of just being civil to people, and especially when there's a major project going on, it's all about them. And most of them, I think, were probably from the big city.
But we had fun.
Yes, we did.
We did have fun.
And I cannot thank the people involved enough. It was just, and I got to say, I think the attitude of the town improved through this project as far as people taking time to talk to each other and taking time, to just help out and conversation, and it wasn't just a quick wave. And
it was a real team building exercise.
It absolutely was, absolutely. And we had so many people on board with that, and if just the jockeying of people's schedules on their own doings. If somebody had something, an appointment or something that they couldn't do when they were supposed to be scheduled for a shift, somebody come right up there and take their exactly. And you were one of the big ones that was there all the time.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I loved it. You and Tim were very instrumental.
Me and Toots.
Yeah, Toots. Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. This has been totally delightful. And this is from the engineer's perspective. You've learned about what it took to save Beverly Shores. Thank you very much.